So good morning and good evening, guys. So first of all, welcome to the episode 12 of DGC web series. So today we are going to have a webinar conducted by one of Dynamic Crm architect. His name is Suresh Panchal. So let me talk a little bit about DGC, which is Dynamic Crm Global Community. So we started this community a couple of months back with the intention of just sharing the knowledge that we have and also making a platform for Dynamics 5 consultant as well as expert, including the partners, and they share the knowledge among all of us. And we have been successfully conducting webinars since then, and today is the 12th episode of the webinar series, where we just have sessions from different experts from different areas. So Suresh is one of the experts. He's a Dynamics 5 as well as Salesforce architect with 12 plus years of experience. And we have many other contributors, and we are also requesting everyone else in the audience who are interested to just share your knowledge with the community. That would be very helpful. So DGC is formed with the intention of just building a platform of Dynamics 5 expert and then share the knowledge. So we have been very successful on that. We also have conducted a couple of meetups on in terms of Dynamics 5, and one of the webinars, if I talk about, we have sessions on SharePoint and Dynamics 5 security, Microsoft Flow, Power Platform, and we have a couple of sessions from session on Dynamics 5 portal from Sudeep Chakraborty. He's another expert from the community. So my name is Firoz, if I haven't introduced myself. So I am a Dynamics 5 consultant and trainer. So we have been doing this webinar extra purely for the benefit of the community. So if anyone is interested to be part of the community or just to contribute, you're always welcome. You can reach out to us towards the end of the session. So if I talk about today's session, the topic is Salesforce and Dynamics 5 integration. The speaker name is Suresh Panchal. He is a technical architect on Dynamics 5 and Salesforce. So he'll be talking about what are the different options for integration on Salesforce as well as Dynamics 5, and he'll be primarily focusing on how we can perform the integration using Kingsway Soft as well as SSIS. Okay, so Suresh also conducted one other session on Salesforce before, I think 1 month back. Okay, so we are conducting webinars on every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. So the last one was on 7th of August, and today's 21st, and the next session will be on 4th of September, and then 18th. That's how it goes. Okay, so we have, and I hope that Suresh, today's session will be very useful for all of us. We have a lot of expectation. So over to you, Suresh.
Thank you, Firoz.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen now.
Sure.
Let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it, Suresh.
Okay, good. So from the presentation purpose, I don't have much to the presentation area, but I have a lot of things to show you as a demo, because I believe that Kingsway Soft is far and much more better than Scribe, which is Scribe tool, which is there. The reason is I have been using Scribe for almost like 8 to 9 years. I would say 8 years at least. And also last 3-4 years we are being using Kingsway Soft, and I have a lot of experience in Scribe Insight, and also I have found a bug in Scribe tool itself, and I have reported Scribe, especially on Scribe Insight. I have reported that, and then Scribe team has accepted that bug, and similarly in Kingsway Soft recently I found one more issue with the upsert, which I'm going to show you what exactly is the issue. But mostly you can come up, you can ask me any questions related to Kingsway Soft. The demo that I'm showing you is like integration between Salesforce and Dynamics 365. So let me start. The components wise, let me first tell you which are the components that are required. You need to download, first of all, you need to have SSIS setup on your machine. So when we say SSIS setup, so we need to have right now I'm using Visual Studio 2015 version and SQL Server 2014. So you can also find whichever version you want. So in terms of installation purposes, you need to have SQL Server integration services, and then SQL Server data tools. And with SQL Server data tools, you need to install a Visual Studio also. Right now I'm using Visual Studio 2015. But I think the latest version is SQL Server 2019, I suppose. So that is also there. 2019 or 2017 is there. So you can see which version you want to go with. And Kingsway Soft, this product is gives a lot of integration opportunities. You can connect with Salesforce, and then Dynamics 365, and there are other support as well. But mostly I have used like the integration that I have been using is Excel to Dynamic Crm, and then CSV, text file, MSMQ based support, MSMQ, and then Salesforce, Dynamic CRM. So these are a few of the system few of the integration which I have been using. So let me jump into the demo. So if you open SSIS package, so you will see few of the components. So one component that we can use is data flow task. In the data flow task, once you have added, you need to just go in data flow. In data flow, as if you have installed SQL Kingsway Soft for Salesforce and Kingsway Soft for CRM, Dynamic CRM, you will see these sort of components available here. Let me show you. So let me delete this. Okay. So Salesforce. Let me say that Salesforce is the source, and Salesforce UI perspective, if you want to see, this is how the Salesforce UI is. So let's say if you want to connect accounts, so this is the object, account object, and then these are few of the fields which are available in the account object. So whenever you are trying to connect with Salesforce, few things that are required for creating the connection is, let me tell you, is the user ID, URL. Just 1 second, please. Salesforce using Kingsway Soft. So as soon as you click on this connection manager, so you are required to enter username, password, and Salesforce and security token. So security token is something which as soon as you log in as you have login ID. So similarly with login, you will also receive a password from Salesforce and plus a security token. Suppose if you don't have a security token, and then you can request, you can raise a request with your Salesforce admin. He can reset, he can give you a new security token. So this is, this is nothing but a combination of IDs there. Let me see if I can show you one. 1 second. So this is how the token looks like. This is how the token will be. So you need to use the security token, username and password. So once you have entered this username password, then there are instance type. So whether you are getting the data from your sandbox environment or from production. So production is, if you see the URL, so let's say you have created in your setup, you have like dev, test, QA, and prod. So production will have a URL starting with login.salesforce.com, whereas sandboxes, for any sandboxes, the number of sandboxes that you create, whether it is test, dev, QA, or pre-prod, whatever it is. So all those things will have the URL starting with test.salesforce.com. And then this is a timeout which you need to set. So whatever timeout appropriate that you see, that you feel like setting it, you can set it. Similarly, there is one more option, proxy server. So this is one more thing that you can set it up. And then in advanced setting, there are a few more information available. One information which I wanted to have your attention is on retry intermittent errors. So this is one option which is very interesting. I'll show you, or later on I'll tell you the how this was one of the thing which was creating the duplicates in our systems. So I'll tell you that. So once you have set all the user ID and password and security connection, just click on test connection. If test is successful, then you will be able to connect. So I have already created one connection, so I'm connecting that. So once you have connected the connection, so you need to just select the object and then the object type. So let me say account. And here you have one very interesting feature for this product. So let's say if you want to create, I wish Sandeep would be there in this call. Then like he had one of the requirements saying that he wants to generate some documentation based on the whatever objects we have in Salesforce. So you might have other tools, but let's say if you're already Kingsway Soft user, then one interesting feature is just click on this generate documentation. So if you click on this generate documentation, select the output column and just say preview or save as. So once you are doing that, you will notice that auto by default like SSIS, this Kingsway Soft creates will give you a list of fields in a Word document. So you don't need to go and then generate the documentation explicitly. So all those things will be available here. So this is one of the useful feature in terms of creating documentation directly from Kingsway Soft. This is one feature available, so you can utilize that. Coming back to the topic, let's say we have the Salesforce connection as a source, and then now I want to create a dynamic CRM, or you can just, for that matter, you can select any destination. So if you see, there are a lot of components available here. So these are the Salesforce source and destination Kingsway Soft provides us. Similarly, there are dynamic CRM, Dynamics CRM as destination, and Dynamic CRM as source. So there are both the options available here. So let me pull this Dynamic CRM connection. So if you're creating CRM connection, again, you need to just create the connection manager. And then I've already created a connection manager. So let's say if you want to, from this source, you want to create, you want to insert record. If you want to perform the insert functionality, then you need to, there are all these features. So create is the one which you can use if you want to perform just an insert functionality, plain insert. And then there is other update, only update, and then delete, upsert. This upsert is one of the this is where I found the issue with Kingsway tool. What upsert was doing is, upsert means update or insert based on the criteria that you define. So whatever lookup criteria that you have given, so based on that, either it will perform an insert or an update. But what was happening is we had like, let's say we have one job which which caches the CRM records. Let's say, let's take an example of account. So we already have accounts in CRM, and then those accounts we are caching into our stage table. The reason why we are caching is, let's say you might have some functionalities on the daily basis wherein you need to stage those data, and then every day you are getting a new accounts or update accounts on a bulk. There might be many accounts, this is just accounts. You may not get that many updates, but there might be other tables or other objects, like if you're working on policies or any transaction tables. So those, if there are any frequent updates, then you can design an architecture saying you get the source and stage use a stage database, and in stage database you perform all the conformance logic, and then once the data is cleaned up, then you can do an insert or update. So one design or approach you can use uses for staging. When you're staging the database, if there are heavy inserts or update, then what you can do is you can stage the database. In stage database only, like you can perform a logic saying that let's say the insert records are there. Whatever insert records are there, inserting means that record should be existing in your CRM database. So you can perform an initial checks in the stage database only, as we have cached the records, as we have cached the database. So what is happening is, first, as soon as your main job runs, you want to cache all the existing accounts data which is there in your stage database. So you already have a replicated version of the account table in your cached or stage database. And then second thing is, let's say on a daily basis, whatever new accounts are coming, you have already staged it. So what you can do is, you need to check whether the new accounts the new records which have come in to stage table. So those records are already whether they are existing records or new versus existing records. So existing records, you will perform an update, and new records you can perform an insert. So how you can identify? A simple way is, whether that particular GUID in your CRM database is existing, then that will qualify for an update. But if that is not existing, then it is a new table, a new record. New record means insert. So this upsert, what the issue that we had fixed, or Kingsway Soft have accepted this issue, and they have released a patch in 11.1 version. So in 11.1 Labrador version, you can find the fix. What was happening is, whenever basically upsert means, first it will do a seek. Seek means select statement, whether the record is existing or new. Okay, so that it will do a select statement, and then after seek, then based on that, either record is existing, it will perform an update. If record is not existing, it will do an insert. So these in our case, what was happening is, because we had heavy data loads, or transactions were very heavy. So what was happening is, in the seek statement, it was failing. So as soon as seek was failing, then instead of erroring out, what it was doing is, it was was making an insert. So it should not have done that, but it was making an insert. So in case of error out, what we were noticing is we were finding a duplicate records because that record is already existing. So that issue, reason why that they have made is what Kingsway, the way Kingsway upsert architecture was there. So they are sending a request in a bulk. Let's say 10 requests they are sending. And then in the select statement, once they send the 10 requests, when they are receiving the output of the 10, the response of those 10 requests, if one is errored out, so that they were treating it as record not existing. And then their Kingsway Soft was inserting record versus erroring out. So that was the issue they have fixed in 11.1 version of Kingsway. So if anyone is using 7. Less than 11 version, then they will, if there are any duplicates that are generating because of upset, then they can install 11.1 version. That will fix their issue. So that is the upsert issue. Any questions on that? Has everybody understood that? Okay, so I'll just go further. So what you need to do is, after selecting the upsert, you need to just select the entity. This is my account entity. Sorry, there is some delay. Once and this upsert or update matching criteria, this is available in 11.1 version only. In older version, these were not there. Sorry. So let's say like if you are specifying manually, update once, and then right now, if you see, I'm using 11 version. So the fix that is available is 11.1 version. That is in Labrador they are calling. I can share you if somebody wants more details on that. They can send me or Firuz an email. I will send you more details on that. Okay. Now once you come, once you select the upsert, what you need to do is just map the columns, whichever you want to. So now you can map the columns. So I've already selected from the source, and then upsert the entity name. I just missed creating a map between source and the destination. You need to just drag the blue line. Once that is done, then you can go in column. And what it does, basic features like, this even scribe does this. Let's say auto mapping. So whichever records it finds, it will auto map. It will automatically map it. And then let's say, and then if you want to define an explicit mapping, you can define that. So what I have done is I've selected this manually specify. If you have selected manually specify, then you need to go in this columns, and let's say first let's define account number. Just 1 second. Okay. Let me see. Okay, in the source I have not scheduled it right. So in the source, I have selected the connection manager, and then you need to select the object name, and then the columns which are there. You can right now select any number of columns. But what I would say is when you are designing the integration at that time, make sure that you are selecting this hide unselected. If these fields are not used, then you select that hide unselected fields. A reason why I'm telling you is when the request goes in. So what I have noticed is in my fiddler trace, the SOAP message, which was the XML message which was going, it was including all the columns which was not selected. So it was making that SOAP call a little bit heavy. If you want to further do it in a very concise way, then you can select this hide unselected field. So that will have some impact on the performance. So right now, just for the demo purpose, I have selected all, create a mapping, go in CRM destination, select connection manager, upsert, and then the destination entity as account. And then there are many other features also. For example, like if you want to trigger a duplicate detection rule, which is already existing in your CRM, so that also you can use it. Volume is very less on day-to-day basis, then you can use that. But I won't recommend using that. Like if it is a heavy data loads, what I would suggest is do that duplicate logic or duplicate detection logic in your stored procedures or in your stage database. So that is what I would recommend using. And let's go to column. Now you will see source and destination. Like if there is auto mapping feature, it will auto map it also. So let's say now we have selected account number. So a couple of other fields also you can select. Address. I'm just selecting random now. So you can select whatever fields you want. So my source is just once you have selected, you can just hit OK. And when I'm selecting manually specify, you will notice that I'm getting the checkbox. So this is what the lookup criteria is all about. So let's say these are the fields which I've selected. I just say that account number or name. I want to use that as a lookup criteria. So this will be your lookup criteria. So if the source record will check whether the account number and name is matching. If it is matching, it will treat as an update. Or if it is not existing, then it will treat as an insert. So that will be the logic, and just hit OK. Just 1 second. Okay, update 1. So this feature is like, let's say if you have similar records found. So in that case, what exactly you need to do? So either you can select update 1 or update all. There are 3-4 options. Ignore that way, or raise an error. So let's say if you are selecting more than one record, so you can say raise an error. And then how to handle the error handling also, I'll just tell you. So you can go to error handling and then redirect the row to error output. And then you can specify later on, once this error output is there, so from there you can specify which like there are two, success and failure. So you can create two error audit tables. One you can say success and another failure. So both the whatever errors are coming, it will go to the error page, and success also you can record. So that way you can design one of the architecture, and then just click on just hit start, and then you can see all the data getting loaded into your CRM from Salesforce. Yeah, I'm open to questions now.
Yeah, Suresh, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Who's this?
Yeah, Rahul this side.
Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah, I want to ask you, like, there must be some data types which are available in Salesforce and which are not present in Dynamic CRM, right? Let's say for as of now, we have a lookup type in Dynamic CRM. It might not be present in the Salesforce. So how we map those things?
So that if you want to handle explicitly, like let's say lookup field is there, or or some stage table is there. Pick lists are there. So those values which are there, you can when you are downloading, when you are getting the source data, you can preview the source data. And then based on that, you can decide on what exactly you want to map. So for example, like lookup, if you want to map, you can just apply some condition in the mapping table itself. So this is again comes to the SSIS part. So in SSIS there are many components. Data conversion components are there. You can utilize those. So let me show you one. So this will, you can, whatever input you have, let's say, this is the data conversion, and then use this. So let's say if you have some lookup field, so open this data conversion, and here you can apply the whatever table you have. So this is a feature of SSIS, Rahul. So you can apply your configure or your conversion logic in this data conversion table, and then whatever is the output column, that you can map it in the end of the CRM destination table. Is that clear, Rahul?
Yes, Suresh. Thank you.
Whatever lookup, pick list, or whatever conversion you want to do, you can do it in this data conversion component. Yep. Any other queries? So
Aruna,
yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
So what is the maximum batch size it will support for CRM online? Is it less than 1,000?
Yeah. Online thing, I have not checked it. That also depends upon from where you're processing. So this processing server, let's say if you have on Azure or on your local on-premise, so you need to see this processing will be done on your, let's say, in this case, it will be done on from my local machine. So I need to know the configuration of my local machine, and then depends upon I can tell you the exact number for on-premise. So, but that also, it has various factors that you need to consider. What is your server configuration? I can give you one for one of our clients. Like the server configuration was around 64 GB of RAM, and then like quad-core processor. So for that sort of configuration, so I was getting performance on-premise. I was getting performance about 150 to 200,000 records per hour. Whereas with the same configuration, when we had used Scribe Insight, we were getting hardly 50,000, not even 50,000. I would say 10,000 or 20,000 we were getting. So it was same configuration. So one by using SSIS we were getting 150, whereas by using Scribe Insight you are getting like 10 to 20,000. The deployment, like in Scribe, if you see, the deployment becomes easy. Scribe Insight I'm talking about. The deployment is very easy. Whereas in SSIS, you need to know a little bit of, like the integration piece. Not only the component, the connection, source, and the destination. You also need to have a little bit of SSIS knowledge. Then only you can do it. But the processing part, it depends upon various factors. So I just gave you my one example of my, like with one of our clients.
Okay. And which is the best practice, whether we should directly migrate Salesforce data to Dynamic CRM, or we should keep a staging DB in between?
I would recommend, it depends upon the volume that you are having. But best thing is just you can use, if suppose, let's say one of my friend, he was telling me that he has less like 25K records are there. So these, this much data, you don't need to have staging database in between. You can directly, get those data in an Excel file or CSV file and then use those CSV file. But certainly if the volume of data is more, then you need to have a staging database, and then you can design an architecture, because you need to know on daily basis, like how many error logs are there, how many records inserted, how many records got updated, and all that. So I would recommend staging when it is when the volume is more, and just you can design directly CSV and all that if it is very light.
Okay.
And one-time migration.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Sure. But it has one another component. If you don't have any other questions, then I can show you one more thing for a couple of minutes. This is one of the feature of SSIS, balanced data distributor. This feature will allow, let's say, if you want to do a multi-threading kind of an architecture. Let's say if sources like 1,000 records are put, or 100,000 records are getting put, so you can create 5 threads or 4 threads, depends upon your server capacity. You can design multi-threading by using this balanced data distributor. And then one more feature is, I can keep on telling. Okay, if you have any question, just interrupt me, and then I can answer those questions. So if you want, there is something called a slowly changing dimension also. So that also one of the feature wherein I had used in my previous slowly changing dimension. This feature, Sandeep and myself, we have worked on that. So here what I had done is, in the stage database, whatever source that I am receiving, those source, to differentiate between insert versus update, I had used this slowly changing dimension. Yes, any more questions? I see there are some chats.
So we'll take one more last question. If you have any questions,
sure.
Find out. Any one more question? Any last question?
Hi, this is Raghu.
Yeah. So it was a very informative and knowledgeable session, Suresh. Thanks for that. And then
I just have one last question.
Yeah.
This is Raidu. Yeah, I just want to check. Like, I'm new to the CRM, so I just want to know if you have any